Making headlines tonight, crucial meetings before possible cabinet reshuffle.
First at 9. This is Other Derana 24/7.
Owner of collapsed Vellavatta building remanded until the 26th of May. Megapolis minister says government has initiated project to develop Galle as a strategic city. No hindrance to holding local government polls, says Chairman of Elections Commission. In international headlines, North Korea launches yet another missile. Good evening, a warm welcome. I'm Indivri Amwatha. We take a look at your top stories making headlines tonight. President Maithripala Sirisena observes that migration of health professionals is proving problematic for the health sector. The President made the remark during the opening ceremony of the hospital of the Sir John Kothawala Defence University today.
The newly built University Hospital of the General Sir John Kothawala Defence University consists of 814 beds and 5 theatres. Funded via a credit line from China, the project cost $200 million.
There is a 50% shortage of specialists and consultant doctors at government hospitals. There is a grave shortage of paramedical services and nursing services in the country. In most countries, there are constitutional restrictions when it comes to professionals. If there are 60,000 doctors in the country with a demand of 50,000 doctors, only the excess 10,000 will be allowed to leave the country. The 50,000, however, is not reduced. It is my understanding that our country has opened doors to freedom and democracy. Doctors are leaving the country as soon as they graduate from universities without notice, even before their first appointment.
And in the developments of the collapsed building in Vellavatta, the owner of the Excellency building was remanded until the 26th of this month, following an order issued by the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court. The court order was issued after he surrendered to the police this morning. Meanwhile, at the rescue mission today, the body of the 60-year-old woman who remained missing following the Vellavatta building collapse has been discovered under its debris, bringing the death toll from the tragedy to 3.
The building collapsed last Thursday, killing at least 3 and injuring 21 people. The body of 60-year-old Shanmugam Annalakshmi, a resident of Moratua, was discovered this evening. Her relatives were also seen at the location today. Meanwhile, the Minister of National Coexistence, Dialogue and Official Languages, Mano Ganesan, and former MP Rosi Senanayake also visited the area.
I'm ashamed as a minister. There is a law which prohibits construction near a canal. No one from ministers to the common man cares about amended laws. I don't care even if I don't get votes. But I urge people in Vellavatta to stop illegal construction.
The coroner of the Colombo South Teaching Hospital in Kalubovila also inspected the site of the collapsed building. Meanwhile, after surrendering himself to police this morning, the owner of the collapsed building, Abdul Sajan, was remanded until the 26th of this month following an order by the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court. Abdul's bail was rejected by the court considering 5 facts, among them being culpable homicide, causing public disturbance and incomplete investigation on the matter. Reportedly, the court also ordered that no functions be carried out at a nearby hall which is also owned by Abdul Sajan. Meanwhile, the Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Patali Champika Ranawaka, also made remarks on the issue.
Since we took action on time, the owner surrendered. Otherwise, no justice would have prevailed over this incident, just like the Mithoramula tragedy. Authorities should take relevant action regarding illegal construction.
The director of the project division of the NBRO, Kumudini Jayawardena, told Other Derana that all the buildings surrounding the collapsed building will be inspected.
Gearing up for yet another strike, the Government Medical Officers Association will launch a token strike tomorrow across hospitals island-wide in protest over the recent attack and arrests of university students. On Wednesday, during a protest by university students in defiance of a court order, police made several arrests for the disruption of law and order.
The Government Medical Officers Association said the token strike will be carried out against the attack on the recent university students' protest against Saitam and the subsequent arrest of students, while no action was taken over the hand grenade attack on the Sri Lanka Medical Council.
The strike will be implemented for a 24-hour period from 8 a.m. tomorrow until 8 a.m. the following day.
දීපව්‍යාප්ත මේ සංකේත වර්ජනය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. සමස්ත ක්‍රියාවලිය තුල නීතිය ක්‍රියාවලි දෙකක්.
It is clear that the police and the government is implementing the law differently for the group that is supportive of Saitam and the group, including university students, that is against Saitam.
Saitam විරෝධී පාර්ශ්වයන් වෙනුවෙන් ඊට හාත්පසම වෙනස් වුණු නීතියක් පොලිසිය සහ රජය මැදිහත් වීමෙන් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරමින් ඉන්න බව.
At a separate media briefing, the Inter-University Students Federation also spoke on their future course of action against the South Asian Institute of Technology and Medicine.
Parents of state university students will go on strike on the 24th of this month. We will continue to create awareness on the matter. We will be compelled to take future action that will be deeply felt by the government.
And President Maithripala Sirisena has informed all cabinet ministers and deputy ministers as well as state ministers to be present at the presidential secretariat at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. The move follows much speculation of a cabinet reshuffle.
The speculated cabinet reshuffle is anticipated to take place tomorrow during the said meeting with the President Maithripala Sirisena. Political sources cite that cabinet ministerial portfolios held by the UNP ministers will be reshuffled amongst themselves, while similar is expected with the SLFP ministerial portfolios. Political sources also note that no additions are expected into the cabinet, while changes are expected in the deputy and state ministerial positions. Meanwhile, ministers and parliamentarians expressed their views on the much talked about cabinet reshuffle.
We do not know when a cabinet reshuffle will happen, but it is up to the two leaders. They represent two political parties, the UNP and the SLFP. Both of them have leadership qualities. Both leaders are well experienced in politics. If not, how could one have become the Prime Minister and the other the President? Both of them will definitely make this journey together in collaboration. It doesn't affect me whether I get the Plantation Ministry or some other ministry. Personally, I believe that both of them will be fair to me. The government is attempting to blow this cabinet reshuffle out of proportion to misguide the public. Probe within the good governance cabinet should be removed. That is what the people expect, but that will not happen. The country is expecting a proper cabinet reshuffle in the ministerial portfolios. President's image will possibly be tarnished if he fails to do a proper reshuffle. The President and the Prime Minister have identified which ministers worked and which didn't. I am now the Minister of National Coexistence and Dialogue. If they hand over another ministry to me, I am ready to accept that as well. Every government throughout the past who lost the public's mandate has tried this. I request the government to give the post of the Health Minister to a dengue mosquito if possible.
And Minister Gayantha Karunatilaka confirmed to Ada Derana that a special meeting between Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe as well as all United National Party ministers have been convened at the Temple Trees at 9 p.m. tonight. And we move on to another story. As Season 2 of Derana Star City drew to a close, the team Royal Fighters came out champions in the grand finale. The glittering event, televised live through TV Derana, was worked off last night at the National Youth Services Council auditorium.
Derana, Fair and Lovely Star City, Season 2.
The grand finale of Derana Star City Season 2 was held last night in a grand scale with a multitude of cinema and musical artists gathering to watch the event. 5 teams comprised of popular artists battled each other in the preliminary rounds, showcasing unique performances. The 2 teams that emerged into the finals were Golden Kings led by Ranjan Ramanayaka and Royal Fighters led by Geeta Kumarasinghe. The 2 teams put up highly competitive performances to win favour from the viewers who decided the winner. Winning the majority of SMS votes, Royal Fighters led by Geeta Kumarasinghe were crowned winners of Derana Star City Season 2.
And in your business stories, Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Partly Champika Ranawaka, says that the government has begun the process of making Galle a strategic city as the first step of the Strategic Cities Development Project of the country. The minister made the revelation speaking at an event in Galle, adding that the Galle harbour will be further developed into a tourism project.
The Galle Strategic City Development Project was unveiled today under the patronage of Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Partly Champika Ranawaka.
The government has decided, and it is acting to make Galle a strategic city and to further develop Galle Harbour as a tourism project. As the first step of the Strategic Cities Development Project, we chose Galle, which is the capital of the south. It is of historic importance, as with the arrival of foreigners, Galle became a very busy location. The other cities we are hoping to develop in the first step are Kandy, then Anuradhapura and Jaffna. For the next step, we have proposed Kurnagala, Matara, Ratnapura and Hambantota.
With Sri Lanka regaining the European Union GSP Plus concession, economist of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce Anushka Vijayasinghe says that exporters have to improve product competitiveness in the European market in preparation for when the country ceases to qualify for the concession. According to the guidelines set out by the EU, the concession will come to a halt when developing nations enjoy GSP Plus achieves an upper middle income country status for 3 consecutive years.
Is that we won't have GSP Plus forever, and during this period we must do whatever it takes to improve our competitiveness to the EU market so that we can survive beyond GSP Plus. We know that in about 5 to 6 years GSP Plus will be no more, so we have to take steps today to be prepared for when we don't have GSP Plus.
He added that public and private sectors should work together to help companies scale up in order to take on the new demand.
One of the areas in which I think the private sector and the government need to work together is on supply capacity. Many of the industries may not have the supply capacity to take advantage of GSP Plus. So I think there needs to be a concerted effort from all parties to help companies quickly upscale so that they are ready to take on the new demand that's likely to come because of GSP Plus.
And Minister of Tourism Development John Amarathunga says the government expects the tourism industry to generate $4 billion in earnings during the current year. He pointed out that the sector revenue was $3.7 billion in earnings last year, playing an important role in offsetting 41% of the country's balances, or rather balance of payment deficit. The minister made these remarks during the inauguration ceremony of the Pacific Asia Travel Association Summit 2017 held in Negombo recently.
The PATA Summit 2017 brought together thought leaders in travel and tourism industry professionals from around the world to Negombo to discuss matters pertaining to the evolution of tourism and the changing tourism landscape. The event was held under the theme Disruption, Innovation and Transformation, the Future of Tourism, and discussions were held on the shift to recognize sustainable leadership and the sharing economy in travel and tourism.
International visitor arrivals into Sri Lanka are expected to grow an average of 10.4% annually between 2017 and 2021, to nearly reach the 3.7 million mark by 2021. Now, the most significant increase in arrivals to Sri Lanka is expected to be from China, which is expected to overtake India to become the largest inbound market from 2017 onward. With this expected growth, it is imperative more than ever that stakeholders from both the public and private sector work together for the benefit of a sustainable tourism industry.
Today, Sri Lanka is increasingly dependent on its tourism industry to deliver it from the economic boost. Last year, Sri Lanka earned $3.7 billion, which helped to offset 41% of our balance of payment deficit. This year, we hope to achieve $4 billion of US in the earnings.
Innovation and disruption thrive within our industry. Often we tend to associate the words disruption and innovation and with technology. We must continue to explore how these things can make our industry more sustainable for communities and the economy as a whole.
Let's now take a look at what to expect from the Colombo Stock Exchange for the new week with Dimantha Matthew from First Capital Holdings.
Market uptick is continue backed by the local interest. Though this is the case with the continuous 800-point run, we feel that the market may take a bit of a breather, where there could be a bit of profit taking. However, though we think that a break in the run is healthy for the market, it is likely to be short-lived. The strong valuations in our market, even in comparison to peer markets, is likely to result in continued foreign and local investor interest in the overall market.
Still in business, moving on to the international arena, countries in the Trans-Pacific Partnership today agreed to look at ways to move the trade deal forward after the withdrawal of the United States in favor of President Donald Trump's America First policy. The agreement comes on the sidelines of a meeting of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation countries that has highlighted the turmoil in global trade negotiations since Trump's withdrawal.
New Zealand's Trade Minister Todd McClay confirmed intent to move forward and said that proposals will be brought out in November following further meetings in Japan in July.
Well, look, we're respectful of the US's position. TPP of 11 still has value and it has importance, and so we're focused on how we can move ahead with the 11 countries. We want to come up with something to put before our leaders which is of such a high quality that many other countries of the world might look towards joining at some stage.
One of the biggest challenges for the group in moving forward is retaining the support of Vietnam and Malaysia, who signed up for the deal and promised to make major reforms largely to get better US market access.
We have agreed on the upcoming challenges leading towards the TPP summit that will be held in November alongside the APEC summit in Vietnam.
Chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, says that he does not see any justifiable reason to postpone the local government elections. He made the statement today following a public event at the Ekala area in Jayala.
The function was organized by the Gampa Election Secretariat to educate female trade union activists in Katunayaka, Biyagama and Watupitiwala free trade zones on the right to vote, democracy and sovereignty. It was worked off under the patronage of the chairman of the Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, at the Gampa Women's Centre.
Whatever issues you may face at your workplace, please inform them to your local public representative. The responsibility of MPs is not to distribute plastic chairs to religious institutions. When you become a registered voter, you have a lot of rights.
He also responded to questions raised by media.
පළාත් සභාවත් දින ලං වෙනවා ඉවර වෙන්න. ඒකත් කල්යන කතාවක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ.
එහෙම පත්තරවලනේ තියෙන්නේ. පළාත් සභා ඡන්ද.
Earlier, elections were postponed in accordance with the Public Security Ordinance. Now, we do not have that obstacle. I think it will not be postponed. Election Commission made evident on several occasions that postponing elections is damaging to democracy.
ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රය අයිතියට හානියක් බව මේට පෙරත් මැතිවරණ කොමිෂන් සභාව කියලා තියෙනවා.
ස්වාධීන කොමිසම් සභාවේ සභාපතිවරයා හැටියට ස්වාධීන කොමිසම් එකකින් වැඩක් නැහැ නේ මේ මැතිවරණය.
Where does it say that the Elections Commission can hold elections? That is a ridiculous question.
ඔබතුමාට අයිතියක් නැද්ද මේ ගැන සොයා බලන්න?
The Commission has no such powers. Therefore, I can do nothing. Not 2 but 4 years have passed. The Commission cannot hold elections.
In the wake of increasing environmental pollution in the country, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Harsha De Silva says that incentivizing individuals to discontinue the use of plastic and non-recyclable products could be an effective way to address the issue of waste. He made these remarks at the Senior Scout Summit 2017 held in Colombo today.
The first Senior Scout Summit was held with a view of supporting the youth of Sri Lanka to address issues related to improper waste disposal, coastal pollution, and to advocate for a zero-waste policy. The summit saw the attendance of over 100 senior scouts across the island to share their thoughts on environmental pollution, and discussions were held on leadership in scouting. The event came to a close under the auspices of the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Harsha De Silva, this evening.
Apparently there is a law in this country that you cannot charge for the plastic bag or the bag. So the bag must be given free. But that's a hell of a law now. Right? If you want to reduce plastic, and there's a law that says if you charge for what is bad, you're doing something illegal, it does not make any sense to me. So these are incentives or disincentives one needs to think about.
Heartwarming story. The human-elephant conflict has become an issue that is constantly covered by the media and studied by academics. But we continue to come across tragic results of this never-ending food. The latest victims of the conflict are 3 elephants in the Anuradhapura district. They were found dead allegedly due to deliberate electrocution by villagers.
During the past 10 days, 3 elephants died due to electrocution by makeshift electric fences erected illegally by people in the village of Mahahalmillava in Tantirimale in the Anuradhapura district. Post-mortem examinations revealed that the elephants had been deliberately electrocuted. The cables used for their electrocution were subsequently discovered at the sites of the elephants' deaths, and 3 suspects have been arrested over the incidents.
Recently, elephants began destroying our crops. Villagers put up an electric fence as a solution for this and not to kill elephants.
Villagers allege that such incidents occur due to the failure of the authorities to provide effective solutions.
We want the Minister of Wildlife to be informed of this and for the government to provide us relief.
In sports tonight, Sri Lanka ended the final day of the South Asian Junior and Cadet Table Tennis Championship in the second place, picking up 5 silver and 7 bronze medals. Over the course of the 3-day championship, India won gold in all 12 events at the St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia Indoor Sports Complex, with Pakistan taking 3rd and Bangladesh and the Maldives sharing the 4th spot. All 14 of Sri Lanka's players won medals and have qualified for the Asian Table Tennis Championship, which will be held in South Korea next month. And Sri Lanka lost their first game in the South Asian Basketball Championship in the Maldives to a strong Bangladesh outfit yesterday. Sri Lanka trailed by 4 at halftime with the score at 50-46. But Bangladesh consolidated their advantage to win by 90 points to 80. Sri Lanka were runners-up in the 2015 edition of the South Asian Basketball Championship, but did not compete in the competition last year. In international news, South Korea's military claims that North Korea fired another missile today from a location close to the site of a failed launch last month. The latest launch comes just a week after North Korea test-fired a medium to long-range missile that experts said marked an advancement in the reclusive state's missile program.
South Korea's Office of Joint Chiefs of Staff released a statement today saying North Korea had fired a projectile 500 kilometers from a site in Pukchang, and other military sources said the launch was being analyzed. Citing sources, the Yonhap news agency said that the launch was not believed to be that of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Last week, North Korea test-fired a missile 700 kilometers at an altitude of 2,000 kilometers, prompting experts to warn of significant advances in the state's missile development program.
And in international headline-making story today, a short while ago, US President Donald Trump called on Arab leaders to drive out extremism and terrorism from the Arab region. In the marquee speech of his first trip abroad, the US president addressed the Arab Islamic American Summit of Regional Leaders. His address came after the US yesterday signaled, or rather signed, trade deals worth $350 billion with Saudi Arabia, including the largest arms deal ever made in US history.
A better future is only possible if your nations drive out the terrorists and drive out the extremists. Drive them out. Drive them out of your places of worship. Drive them out of your communities. Drive them out of your holy land. And drive them out of this earth.
While US President Donald Trump struck a unifying note in his address, he caused controversy during his election campaign by calling for Muslims to be banned from entering the US, citing security concerns. The order aimed at restricting travel from several Muslim-majority countries remains mired in US courts.
And that's a part of your world for tonight. But before we go, we'd like to take you to Los Angeles, where fashion house Dior showcased a series of Western-inspired outfits. Do take a look.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.